Since 1991, we've been told the same story. Eggman is the villain, Sonic is the hero. Collect the emeralds, save the world. But after years of playing these games, I started noticing something that doesn't add up. Have you ever wondered why Sonic doesn't age? And why every major catastrophe in Sonic history, every ancient god released, every timeline shattered, every planet cracked open, trace back to the same source? It's not Eggman, not Shadow, not even the Black Arms. Something else. Something that's been sitting in plain sight since the very first game. Hiding in the lore. Hiding in the one thing we never thought to question. And once I found it, I couldn't unsee it. Every game, every final boss, every supersonic transformation, it's all connected to one entity that nobody talks about. Today, we're pulling the whole thread. Quick thing, if you're not subscribed yet, fix that so you don't miss any more mind-blowing Sonic lore. I appreciate you, and let's get back to it. So, where does this start? What's the one thing that connects every single era of Sonic? It's not a character. Characters come and go. It's not a location. The games jump all over the world. The one constant, the one thing that's been present in almost every mainline Sonic game, is the Chaos Emeralds. And here's what made me start digging. They don't behave the same way in any two games. In the classic era, Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, the emeralds are collectibles. You find them in special stages. They unlock the good ending and eventually Super Sonic. There's no lore, no backstory, they're just there. Then Sonic Adventure happens and everything changes. Suddenly, the emeralds have a history. They were kept at the Altar of Emerald alongside the Master Emerald. A civilization of echidnas tried to weaponize them. A water god named Chaos was sealed inside. Tikal's prayer is the only thing keeping the whole system stable. The emeralds go from cool power-up to ancient weapon with a body count. In Sonic Adventure 2, they power the Eclipse Cannon, a weapon that blows a hole in the moon. In Shadow the Hedgehog, they're the bargaining chip in a deal between a human scientist and an alien warlord. In Sonic 06, they interact with time itself through Solaris. In Sonic Unleashed, they crack the planet open. And then Sonic Frontiers drops and tells us the emeralds aren't even from this planet. They were brought to Earth by an alien civilization called the Ancients, who were fleeing a cosmic entity called the End. The emeralds are alien tech. They always were. Now, at first I thought this was just Sega retconning their own lore. Wouldn't be the first time. But then I started mapping every game where the emeralds appear, and tracking what happens around them. Not what Sonic does with them, what happens to the world when they're activated. And that's when the pattern showed up. Every time the emeralds are used, by anyone for any reason, something catastrophic follows. Chaos floods a city. The moon gets a crater. The planet cracks in half. The timeline tears apart. Every single time. And it's not Eggman causing the destruction. He just triggers it. The emeralds are the constant. They're always at the center. And I kept asking myself, if these things are supposed to be tools, if they're supposed to be limitless power that the hero uses to save the day, then why does using them always make things worse before it makes things better? Why does every game end with Sonic going super to undo the damage that the emeralds themselves cause? That's when it hit me. The emeralds aren't tools. They never were. They're not power-ups. They're not weapons. They're a delivery system. And the thing being delivered, the thing that's been hiding inside the Chaos Network for tens of thousands of years, has been feeding on every transformation, every battle, every victory Sonic has ever had. And Sonic Frontiers finally showed us its face. Sonic Frontiers changed the lore of this franchise more than any game since Adventure, and most people focused on the wrong part. The big headline was, the Chaos Emeralds are from space. And yeah, that's huge, but the real revelation isn't where they came from, it's what followed them. Here's the full story as Frontiers tells it. Tens of thousands of years ago, a technologically advanced alien race called the Ancients lived on a distant planet. They used the Chaos Emeralds as their primary power source. Everything ran on chaos energy. Their ships, their technology, their civilization. Then something attacked them, an entity called the End. It destroyed their entire planet in a single stroke. The surviving Ancients fled through space, carrying the 7 Chaos Emeralds with them. As they passed near Earth, the Emeralds reacted to the Master Emerald on the planet's surface and pulled the Ancients' fleet down. They crash-landed on the Starfall Islands and tried to rebuild, but the End followed them. It always follows the Emeralds. The Ancients built massive mechanized weapons called Titans to fight the End. They created cyberspace, a digital dimension where they stored their knowledge and the essence of their souls as a backup. They threw everything they had at this entity, and it wasn't enough. The End overpowered them. In a last desperate move, the Ancients sealed the End inside cyberspace, using the Titan Supreme as a prison. But the cost was everything. The Ancients were wiped out within a single generation. The survivors devolved over thousands of years into Chow, the small creatures we've seen throughout the franchise since Sonic Adventure. And this is where the theory starts, because if the End followed the Chaos Emeralds across the universe to destroy the Ancients, and if it was sealed inside cyberspace, which is itself powered by chaos energy, then the End didn't just get imprisoned, it got embedded. It's inside the Chaos Network. It's been inside the Chaos Network for tens of thousands of years. Every time someone taps into chaos energy, they're not just using power, they're interacting with the prison that contains a cosmic parasite. And here's the darkest part. Every time Sonic goes super, every time he channels all 7 Chaos Emeralds through his body and becomes the most powerful version of himself, he isn't just winning. He's strengthening the link between Earth and the End. Supersonic is the highest energy state the Chaos Network can produce. And that energy doesn't just disappear, it goes somewhere. It feeds something. Now I need you to think about Dr. Eggman differently for a minute. Because once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. Eggman is supposed to be the main villain of this franchise. He's the guy Sonic fights in almost every game. He builds robots, he wants to take over the world. He's been doing this since 1991, and on the surface, he looks like a genius who keeps failing because the hero is too fast. But look at what actually happens in his plans. Look at the results. In Sonic Adventure, he cracks open the Master Emerald and releases Chaos, a god-tier entity that floods an entire city. In Sonic Adventure 2, he breaks into a military prison and awakens Shadow, a being created with alien DNA, specifically designed to channel chaos energy. In Sonic Unleashed, he fires the Chaos Emeralds into the planet and releases Dark Gaia, an ancient entity that has been sleeping inside the Earth's core for millions of years. In Sonic Generations, he creates the Time Eater, or does he find it, and tears apart the fabric of time itself. Every single one of Eggman's genius plans results in the release of something ancient and catastrophic. Every time he doesn't just fail, he fails in the exact same way, by unleashing forces that dwarf anything he could control. And I think that's the point. I think Eggman isn't making these decisions on his own. I think he's being influenced by chaos radiation. Think about it. Eggman has been building machines powered by chaos energy for decades. He's been in direct contact with the Emeralds more than almost anyone in the franchise. His grandfather Gerald built the Eclipse Cannon, a weapon powered by all 7 Chaos Emeralds. The Robotnik family has been swimming in chaos energy for 3 generations. And look at what that exposure has done to his ambitions. Eggman doesn't just want to rule the world. He wants to build Eggman Land, a fully mechanized civilization that converts the entire planet into a machine. A civilization that would harvest enormous amounts of energy just by existing. What if that's not his idea? What if the subconscious drive to build a planet-scale energy harvesting civilization is coming from somewhere else? What if chaos radiation has been whispering to the Robotnik family for generations, pushing them toward building exactly the kind of infrastructure the End needs to fully manifest? And here's the detail that I can't stop thinking about. Look at Eggman's later designs. Look at the geometry of his technology in Frontiers compared to the technology of the Ancients. space. Look at the patterns in cyberspace. They're converging. Eggman's designs are increasingly mimicking ancient technology, the same technology that was built to channel chaos energy. He's not innovating, he's remembering, or something is remembering through him. Eggman thinks he's the villain. He's not. He's the most useful puppet the end has ever had. But Eggman isn't the only Robotnik who got pulled into this. His grandfather's story is worse, much worse. Professor Gerald Robotnik was considered the greatest scientific mind of his era. He was recruited by the United Federation to lead Project Shadow, a top-secret initiative aboard the space colony Ark to create the ultimate life form. The government wanted a weapon. Gerald wanted to cure his granddaughter Maria, who was dying from a fatal disease called NIDS. Gerald's first attempt produced the BioLizard, a massive prototype that proved too unstable. It was powerful but uncontrollable. It needed life support machinery just to survive. Gerald needed better genetic material. And that's when Black Doom appeared. Black Doom is the leader of the Black Arms, an alien race that passes by Earth every 50 years, aboard a massive structure called the Black Comet. He contacted Gerald and offered a deal. Black Doom would provide his own blood, his own DNA, to complete Project Shadow. In exchange, Gerald would have the resulting creation deliver the 7 Chaos Emeralds to the Black Arms when they returned in 50 years. Gerald accepted. Using Black Doom's DNA, he successfully created Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form, immortal, capable of chaos control with a single emerald, the perfect conduit for chaos energy. But here's what the games tell us on the surface. Gerald realized Black Doom intended to use the Chaos Emeralds to teleport the Black Comet onto Earth's surface and enslave humanity. So Gerald secretly built the Eclipse Cannon, powered by all 7 Chaos Emeralds. As a countermeasure, Shadow would collect the emeralds, power the cannon, and destroy the Black Comet when it returned. That's the official story. Gerald was a good man who made a bad deal and tried to fix it. But now layer the theory on top of that. The Black Arms passed by Earth every 50 years, like clockwork. A species that travels on a predictable cosmic cycle, arriving, making contact, leaving, returning. That's not random migration. That's a schedule. That's a scouting pattern. What if the Black Arms aren't independent actors? What if they're biological scouts, organic extensions of the End's influence sent to monitor planets with high concentrations of chaos energy? The End is a cosmic entity that destroys civilizations. The Black Arms are a species that visits planets on a fixed schedule, seeks out the Chaos Emeralds, and attempts to subjugate the local population. The End wants to consume. The Black Arms want to harvest. The pattern is identical. The scale is different. And if the Black Arms are the End scouts, then everything about Shadow's creation changes. Gerald didn't stumble onto an alien deal by accident. He was selected. A brilliant scientist working with chaos energy aboard a space station. The perfect candidate. Black Doom didn't just want the emeralds delivered. He wanted a vessel created. A being that could channel all 7 Chaos Emeralds simultaneously. A being with Black Arms DNA, connected to the Chaos Network through alien blood, that could produce the highest possible energy output from the emeralds. Shadow wasn't created to be the ultimate life form, he was created to be the ultimate battery. And the Eclipse Cannon? Gerald thought he was building a weapon to destroy the Black Comet, but look at what it actually is. A massive energy weapon powered by all 7 Chaos Emeralds, mounted on a space station, pointed at whatever Gerald aimed it at. If the End's goal is to build infrastructure that harvests and channels chaos energy on a planetary scale, the Eclipse Cannon is a prototype. The Ark isn't a research station, it's a proof of concept for a planetary soul harvester. Gerald thought he was outsmarting Black Doom, but Black Doom was just the middleman. The End was pulling the strings on both of them. And then something went wrong. The government shut Project Shadow down. Maria was killed. Gerald went insane. Shadow was put into stasis for 50 years. The whole plan derailed. But then the hero showed up. A hedgehog with no Black Arms DNA, no manufactured purpose, no programming. who could somehow channel the Chaos Emeralds just as effectively as Shadow. A happy accident that got in the way of the original plan. And instead of being useless to the end, Sonic turned out to be even better than Shadow, because Sonic fights constantly. He goes super in almost every major confrontation. He channels the full power of all 7 emeralds over and over and over again. The end didn't lose when Shadow's plan fell apart. It found an upgrade. And this is where it gets dark, because there's one question about Sonic the Hedgehog that nobody can answer and everybody ignores. Why doesn't Sonic age? He's been 15 years old for over 3 decades. The world around him changes, technology evolves, characters come and go, but Sonic stays the same, and the games keep happening. Catastrophe after catastrophe, world-ending threat after world-ending threat, and Sonic is always there, always ready, always the one who goes super and saves the day. And then there's the resets. In Sonic 06, the entire timeline is erased. Solaris, an entity that exists across all of time simultaneously, is destroyed, and the events of the game are wiped from existence. In Sonic Forces, Eggman conquers the world for 6 months, and then Sonic undoes it. In Sonic Generations, the Time Eater literally tears apart the timeline and pulls locations from across Sonic's entire history into a white void. These aren't just plot devices, they're symptoms. I think the end has trapped Sonic's world in a temporal loop. Think about why. The end is sealed inside cyberspace. It's imprisoned, but the prison runs on chaos energy, and the highest output of chaos energy in the entire franchise is Super Sonic. Every time Sonic transforms, every time he channels all 7 emeralds to fight the final boss, he produces an enormous burst of energy that feeds directly into the Chaos Network, directly into the End's prison. The End doesn't want to escape, not yet. It wants to be fed. It needs Sonic to keep fighting. It needs the cycle to continue. Hero collects emeralds, Hero faces threat, Hero goes super, Hero wins, cycle resets, do it again. And now look at the entities that try to break the timeline. Look at them closely. Solaris exists across all time simultaneously. It is described as the Flame of Hope, split into 2 halves, Myphilis and Iblis, that when reunited can consume all of existence. The Time Eater tears apart Sonic's history and pulls everything into a white void of nothing. The End is described as pure entropy, an entity whose sole purpose is annihilating everything. 3 cosmic entities, 3 games where time itself is weaponized, and they all share one trait. They all target Sonic specifically. They all require the Chaos Emeralds to be defeated, and defeating them always requires Super Sonic to produce the maximum possible energy output. What if they're not 3 separate villains? What if they're 3 manifestations of the same thing? Solaris was the first attempt to break through, consuming all timelines at once. It failed, and the timeline was erased. The Time Eater was the second attempt, cruder, more primitive, trying to eat the timeline piece by piece to prevent its own death. The End was the final form, the thing itself unmasked, stepping out of the shadows after tens of thousands of years. Same entity, different masks, and every time Sonic defeats one of them, he pours the maximum possible chaos energy into the network, which is exactly what the End wants. The victories aren't victories, they're feeding cycles. Every final boss in Sonic's history, every supersonic transformation, every time we watch Sonic glow gold and rush toward the cosmic threat and thought, this is the most epic thing I've ever seen, we were watching the parasite get fed. So let me lay out what we found. The Chaos Emeralds are not tools. They are a delivery system for a sentient parasitic energy that has been embedded in the franchise since before recorded history. The End, a cosmic entity of pure entropy, lives inside the Chaos Network and has been manipulating events across every era of Sonic games. The Ancients brought the Emeralds to Earth and were destroyed. Chaos, a descendant of those Ancients, was sealed with the Emeralds for 3,000 years, keeping the system stable until Eggman broke it open. Gerald Robotnik was manipulated by the Black Arms, biological scouts operating on the End's behalf, into creating Shadow. the perfect chaos energy vessel. When that plan failed, Sonic became the replacement, a better replacement, because Sonic never stops fighting. Eggman's plans consistently release ancient evils because chaos radiation is guiding his ambitions toward building the infrastructure the end needs. His obsession with planetary conquest isn't genius, it's programming. The Robotnik family has been the End's most reliable tool for 3 generations, and the timeline keeps looping. Sonic never ages, the world keeps resetting. Catastrophes repeat, because the End needs the cycle to continue. It needs Super Sonic. Every transformation is a feeding. Every victory is a transaction. Every time Sonic saves the world, he keeps the parasite alive for one more cycle. Solaris, the Time Eater, the End, 3 faces, one entity, and it's been hiding in the Chaos Emeralds since before the first game was ever made. But here's the thing that keeps me coming back to this franchise. Sonic knows. Not consciously, not in some he's figured out the conspiracy way, but on some level, in the way he lives, in the way he runs, in the way he refuses to stop. Sonic knows the system is rigged. He knows the emeralds are dangerous. He knows the fights never end. He knows the world keeps resetting and the villains keep coming back, and the cycle never breaks. And he fights anyway. Not because he's a battery, not because the parasite needs him, but because the people he's protecting are real. Tails is real, Amy is real, Knuckles is real, the world below him is real. And even if every supersonic transformation feeds something ancient and terrible, even if every victory is a transaction, the alternative is letting the people he loves get consumed. That's the tragedy of Sonic the Hedgehog. He might be trapped in a loop designed to feed a cosmic parasite, but inside that loop, he still chooses to be a hero. Not because the system rewards it, but because that's who he is. The true villain has been hiding in every Sonic game since 1991. It's been inside the emeralds the whole time, and Sonic has been fighting it without knowing, feeding it without meaning to, and saving the world despite all of it. The cycle continues, the parasite feeds, and Sonic runs, because that's all he's ever known how to do. If you made it this far, drop a comment telling me which connection hit you the hardest. Was it Eggman as a puppet, Shadow as a vessel, the time loop? I want to know what changed for you. That was every piece of evidence I could find. But just like I found all these connections, you should find your way down to that subscribe button. Come on, people. If you want more Sonic deep dives, the Chris Thorndike is Eggman AU theory and what happened to every copycat Sonic game videos are both right here. I'll see you in the next one.